I love knowing that no matter what happens, if I lost every penny, I would feel bad for my wife, but that would be my new platform to go build tons more new relationships and get off the ground. So I would say to my young self, calm down, bro. Give it all you got. Don't ask for 100. Ask for 1 million, because that's what you'll get. How much of the camera gets us? Can it see our feet?
I
don't have any chicken poop on there, do I?
No.
Okay.
You never know. He's got one heck of a chicken coop.
I'm the only guy I know that still rides a skateboard when he's 55 years old that has chicken poop on his skateboard.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's amazing. I told him, I said he has built his office and his house in such a way that he skateboards into his office every day.
I did. I poured that sidewalk. I bought this building 8 years ago. Bought the house 2 years ago. And first thing I did is I poured a sidewalk right to the side door so I can ride my skateboard to work.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Life is good.
That's amazing. Well, Rick, so happy to have you on. Thank you for doing this. We're just really excited to talk to you today. The team, we've been chatting about you and looking forward to just getting to, sit down and hear your stories. I mean, obviously, I think everybody knows you from Shark Tank and Readerest and that whole journey. But I want to hear a little bit more of the backstory and then also hear about the journey of getting onto Shark Tank. I think that's so interesting. And it's rare. Like, we see the show, but most people don't know individuals that have actually done it and been in that room. So thank you for doing this and being here.
My pleasure, man. It's always a blast hanging out with you.
Oh, we have a good time. I always am laughing when I leave your presence.
I tell people all the time, I laugh more than anybody I know. I'm committed to it. Business, it's important to make money, but the most fun I have is going from 0 to 1 million because of all the relationships I build. And I'm if you ask anybody that knows me, I am definitely more committed to fun than I am profit.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with that. And one thing I wanted to know this about you, but you just said, you're 55 years old. You have more energy than a lot of 20-year-olds that I know. And why is that? Are you doing some crazy health thing, or is it just you love what you do every day, or where does that energy come from?
I wish I could take credit for something I do. I think it is enthusiasm. I heard enthusiasm is a spiritual condition, and I think it picks us. We don't pick it. However, there's an accelerator that happens about 10 years ago. I've learned that pain is inevitable, but misery is optional, and attitude is everything. So I decided that how I treat every situation, I have the option to having a great attitude, and it perpetuates that energy. It's a decision. Yeah, it is. I see people. I try to influence people all the time because some folks are naturally negative. I'm allergic to negativity, which means I'm allergic to negative people. And so when I'm forced into spending time with folks that are just make me uncomfortable, every time I hear some negativity coming out or some bad talk about somebody else, my first reaction is throw water on it. And let's get on with the happy show. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep on going. I don't want to talk about negative stuff.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, what's the practical thing that you do in because we talk about this a lot in our company about we eliminate negativity. We don't allow negative talk to happen. So and I know the same goes in your business. What's the practical day to day? When you hear negativity and you say you throw water on it, what does that actually look like?
It's either a contrary statement to the negative statement. And if that doesn't work, you change the subject into something that is positive. And last case scenario, you just separate yourself from the person. Just go away.
Just go away. Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, before Readerest, you had multiple things going. I want to go back to kind of the beginning a little bit. Where did this all start? I know your story is amazing. I mean, you have one of the most like I love your story. It's so inspiring. It's interesting. So can you take us back a little bit and talk about,
I don't know how much time you have, and I don't know how far back you want to go, but there were some dark ages, and there were some. So I was a little kid. I remember my mom died about 10 years ago, but she used to always talk about how. So I have a brother that's a year older and a year younger, and when it was night time when we were little kids, my mom would go in the room and there's little Ricky staring at the ceiling thinking about stuff, and I probably was. When I was, I would say 13, my dad was a plumber, and it was a windy day. And kite surfing or a sailboard, what do you call that? Kite sailing was a thing. So I wanted to build a kite for my skateboard.
Okay.
And so I took some PVC pipe, an old bed sheet, and duct taped it together, and I'm just ripping around the neighborhood. My friends are chasing me.
Yeah.
And they didn't get a turn because they should probably build their own kite. Just saying. And then I invented the snowboard.
Okay.
Nobody believes me. But when I was, I think I was 18 or 19, my friends were going skiing up in Northern California, and I was shaping skimboards for, I don't know if you know what skimboarding is at the beach, shore break, riding the shore break waves. And so I shaped this thing that now looks like a snowboard. I called it my snow surfer because I've always wanted to surf in the snow.
Okay.
Put little metal brackets, literally put rope in my backpack and roped my Sorel hiking boots onto these metal brackets and just ripped down the mountain.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I could make money at the time.
Okay.
So I didn't know how to take something to market. So I've always had that creative brain. I'm not unique. Most entrepreneurs have an unstoppable desire to figure stuff out, solve problems. Some of us have the innate ability to see a solution to a problem and implement it. And that's what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you invent the snowboard, and then what happens?
So I just kept going to school, and I went to college twice.
Okay.
Made it halfway through the semester both times.
Okay.
And I'm not slow. School is slow.
I agree.
And so I'm just running so fast. Now I took the long, hard road. Got married early. I'm gonna tell you some dark secrets about my life.
Go ahead.
That people need to know about, because if somebody's ever feeling hopeless. So after about 5 years of marriage, and I had 2 little girls, I tried out smoking meth. Fell in love with it.
Wow.
Took control of my life for 2.5 years. I'm a 200-pound guy. I weighed 145 pounds. And the last time I went to jail, until I was running the streets, my wife kicked me out after a while. And I couldn't stop.
Wow.
So I spent 40 days in jail for. I never even got any drug charges. That's the weird part. I had the consequences of being an idiot, basically. Unpaid registration, failures to appear. I had 4 warrants for my arrest when I got busted, and it's just dumb stuff. So thank God I never had any felonies or anything like that didn't keep me from getting jobs later. So July 13th, 1994, I'm done. Quit. Spend some time going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings and meeting up with folks that understand the grip of addiction and how to get out of the gutter and up onto the curbs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I went to work at Home Depot.
Okay.
And spent 6 years at Home Depot, literally to the day I quit, the day I was hired, because I had started a new company a couple months earlier. I was a window and door installer most of my life. I was a contractor. I can build anything, and I build everything. So I had a door and window business when I was using meth, and that was my front for being out there running around doing stuff. But I never lost the skill of doing finished carpentry and whatnot. So when I was working at Home Depot, it wasn't enough money to, oh, by the way, the victory is my wife took me back miraculously. And we've been married 34 years next month.
Wow, that's great.
Boom.
Congratulations.
So, and we count those 2 years. We should actually get bonus points for those 2 years.
Those are bonus
points. If you ask her,
she wants those bonus points.
Yeah. So while I was at Home Depot, I had bought my first house when I was about 35. And I was 29 when I quit using drugs and bought my house. I'm replacing my windows. And for years, I kept wondering, why doesn't somebody design something to simplify the lives of window installers? Because when you put retrofit windows in, you pulled an old window out, there's always a gap around the inside. You got to do trim work and do nails, shoot nails in and caulk and do all the fill the nail holes and paint the trim. So nobody would do it. So I think January 9th, 2001, my hand went up involuntarily. I said, all right, I'll do it. I didn't even know what extrusions were. I wound up designing the product, had a guy make it for me, and I never called in sick, so I had like 6 weeks of vacation time racked up at Home Depot.
Wow.
So I'd take a couple weeks off, and I'd jump on my little S10 with a little trailer and drive up and down. I was living in California. I spent 48 years out there surfing and snowboarding before I left and came back to America. No offense, California. You're a beautiful place. But so it's just Texas. We don't have to talk about Texas.
Yeah.
Everybody knows why people move to Texas from California.
Sure.
So all these people were buying my window trim. It was called Trim Quick. I think it's been 10 years since I sold that company, so I think I'm allowed to talk about it now. So Trim Quick, great product, great customers. And so I did that for 10 years, sold my interest in the company, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do next. And a buddy of mine came over with a variation of a magnetic eyeglass holder. And so I'm like, hey, what is that? So I ignored it. He had he had a pin or something on his shirt. And a little while later I go, hey, what's that goofy thing on your shirt? He says, what? Oh, we were just screwing around. And so I had time on my hands. I had just did a leverage buyout, so I had some money coming in for 4 years.
Okay.
And so it just seemed obvious to try something new. Now, I had a lot of friends that can I just keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to hear it all. Go ahead.
So we'll get to the Shark Tank part.
Go ahead.
Everybody loves Shark Tank.
Well, we want to
much.
hear all the backstory.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of transition out of that first phase of my life where I had started the window trim company, and did that for 10 years. And it was good. I mean, I went first time I ever made money in my life, so I spent most of it. Bought an airplane and Harley, and I was just
wow.
We just like as if you weren't going to live very long,
right?
And so let's transition into the Readerest story.
Okay.
I already started it. It wasn't my idea.
Okay.
I got some patents on some stuff later on, but found out I started making these little clips. Started making them with a paper clip. Literally, I have the originals. I got them around here somewhere. Bent a paper clip, epoxied it to 2 magnets, and just put a fender washer under my shirt and hang my glasses on there. And it was a place to hang my glasses because when you bend over, they always fall out of your shirt. And anybody that wears reading glasses knows what happens. So the byproduct was this little thing. It always was in the same place all the time. But when you bend over, your glasses don't fall out because the gravity just pulls it forward and it just stays on there.
Right.
And every single day for 6 months, strangers would walk up to me and go, hey, what is that? Is that part of your shirt? What is that little thing on your shirt? I'm like, oh, that's my little paperclip thingy, I called it.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I was like, I think this might be a big deal. People notice it.
Everybody's asking about this.
Yeah, this literally could be, it's a tiny little inexpensive thing, but it could be the next big thing.
Yeah. Well, and you know that when somebody keeps asking you over and over again about a little invention that you're using for your own.
Not only what is it, but, dude, where do you get that? Yeah, I want one of those.
They wanted it.
So then I thought, all right, I'm going to get serious about it. So I went into production. I had a company. I spent $15,000 on tooling and had this guy make me about 50,000 of these little clips. And I'm in my garage at the house in a spare bedroom, and now I'm doing packaging in the living room, and my wife's like, what are you doing? Go get a shop.
Yeah.
But I was doing Street fairs, farmers markets, gun shows, golf shows, trade fairs, you name it.
You were
Wherever
there.
there was a bunch of people, I put up my little booth with my logo on there, and people would come by, and every single person that came by my booth, because it was something new.
Yeah.
It was people. There's really nothing to associate it with. So when people walked by, you never saw the look on somebody's face that said, "Oh, that's one of those."
Right.
It was always this look on their face like. They would stand there for 5 or 10 seconds, and I would do a silent demo.
And just show them.
And they're like, one guy was like, Gina! She was like 3 booths down. And he's mad now. And so she walks up. She looks at this stuff. She's like, what? She goes from like this to this and slaps him in the arm. Because he had just lost his $300 sunglasses the day before.
Oh, okay.
He wouldn't have lost his sunglasses.
If he had it.
So the reaction, and then people would start pulling money out of their pocket, start throwing money at me before they even knew how much they cost. And which was kind of funny. The perceived value of something is really important.
Yeah.
I tested lots of different price points to see what people would pay for it. So I'd price it at $12. People would buy some. I'd price it at $10. People would buy some. And when I dropped the price to $5, people would come up to my booth and go, "Oh, that's not worth $5. I wouldn't give you $2 for that thing."
Interesting.
And then 2 hours later, I changed my price because all the new people walking by. I know I'm selling them for $10. A guy throws $20 at me, takes 2 of them, puts it on there, takes his like little what do you call it? That little like a granny chain type thing. Takes it. Throws it in my trash can, puts his glasses in there. He's walking away. He goes, $10. What a great deal.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy before said $5. I wouldn't pay you $2 for that.
That's interesting.
Thing. So that is where I learned about Shark Tank.
Okay.
Is my mic okay?
Yeah, it's perfect.
So I was doing the shows every place I could. Every weekend I was out somewhere slinging these little things. And nobody liked the name of my company.
Okay. And what was the name then?
Readerest.
Oh, same thing.
And I had no less than 100 people in the last 10 years tell me, Readerest, that's kind of a stupid name. I go, I know. And I pull out a $100 bill. I go, you got 2 minutes to come up with a better name, and this is yours.
Yeah.
I've never given a $100 bill
No one's ever done it. Yeah.
So it's not a great name, but it works. It is Readerest. Anyway, so settled on Readerest. I had all kinds of crazy names that were inappropriate. So during all these trade shows and fairs and farmers markets and stuff, people would they would see what it is, and they'd see how I demo it, and they're like, "You got to go on Shark Tank." Now I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't know what Shark Tank is.
Okay. And when is this?
This would be 2011.
Okay.
2011, like from January to June of 2011. And I'm like, everybody kept saying the same thing. So I would be like, what is it? And they would say, oh, it's a game show. It's like a game show.
Interesting.
And then somebody go, oh, it's a reality. And the next person says it's a reality show, and where there's a contest and you could win money. And I'm thinking, I'm not going on some stupid game show. I'm busy taking a product to market.
Right.
And I'm having fun doing
it.
I'm not going to whatever. So, no, seriously, 6 months of hundreds of people tell me, dude, you got to get on Shark Tank. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And then one night, my buddy called me and basically called me at night one night and said, you're an idiot, and hung up on me. I'm going, whoa, what's up, bro? So I call him back. He's like, you haven't even looked into Shark Tank. How do you even know you should or shouldn't? How many people have told you? So I go, all right. So that night I look it up online, and I watched a couple little 2-minute snippets of the show.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, this is kind of a big deal. So I sent him an email submission. Dear Shark Tank, I've never seen your show before, but I've had hundreds of people tell me I should get on your show. Here's my domain. I gave him some basic information, and then I'm going to tell the naked story.
Okay.
Of the phone call from the Shark Tank producer.
All right.
So I was living in California at the time. I had just got done surfing. I'm in the back of my van. I had just taken off my wetsuit. I'm standing there totally naked in my van. And my phone rings. It was a 310 number. Like, I'll answer it. So there I was talking naked to the head producer of Shark Tank. If you see this video, sorry, bro. So I heard later that they get like 40,000 applicants per season.
Okay.
And they're shooting the next season in like 2 or 3 weeks from when he called me. So I'm accused by all my friends of being the luckiest person in the world.
So what did he tell you? What did he say to you on the phone?
Got your submission. Great product. I actually had lied and cheated on the application because really I had nothing to lose. And it said, do not send videos. Just send us a picture of you. And so in my submission, I said, if you want to see a picture of me, click on the link below. It was a moving picture. It was me demonstrating my product.
Okay.
And I never got in trouble for it. I got on the show for it.
Yeah.
So so we did. So then I'm like, they send me this huge contract. I'm like, oh man. So I take it to my attorney. And my attorney says,
this is just to get on the show?
Yeah, this is you have to agree to some terms to get on the show.
To be on the show, okay.
And so I took it to my attorney and he's like, are you sure you want to get into all this? This is a big contract. I go, yeah. He said, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
and
anyway.
why was that? What was the issue with it? Was just so locked down, or what was the problem with that contract? I don't know if you can talk about it or not.
No, I really can't talk about it, but there were some terms in the first, because I was in season 3.
Okay.
There were some terms in in the earlier seasons, I think, that were maybe considered unfair to new business or something. I don't really remember, honestly, but again, I had nothing to lose.
Sure.
So, best thing I ever did, going on Shark Tank with this little product, because the exposure is incredible.
Yeah. So you get the call, you go to the filming, and what is that like? Like, what is that process like? Do they wave you in and you just walk in the doors, or what is it like actually being there?
So they put you up in a hotel near the studios, and then you go and you have to you get a little room because they don't want anybody talking to other people, because they don't want any spoilers. So
right.
They keep everybody separated. And then as soon as you're done shooting your episode, boom, they throw you in a van and take you.
You're out of here.
Back to your place and don't talk to anybody, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, and I go, well, the day before you do a practice run.
Okay.
With a bunch of producers and camera people as a fake. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this stuff, but nonetheless,
that's okay.
It was very, very stressful.
The practice run.
Well, the practice run wasn't really that stressful for me, because I knew my story, I knew my pitch, it was easy. But the people in front of me that went, they got hammered. They were like a disaster.
Okay.
And then so the next day, it's my turn to go in. So when you walk in the corridor, so I'm like, my heart's pounding. I'm just like, I don't know why I'm so stressed. I can get in front of a bunch of people and talk.
Yeah.
But this was a dynamic that I just never understood. I'll never understand, between the lights and the cameras and then the 5 sharks.
Yeah.
Was like, so I got to tell you one story about when he called me. Oh, he says I needed to have a 45-minute interview on the phone before I got to the next phase of the project. So he says, we're going to call you on Thursday morning at 10:45, have your 1 to 2 minute pitch ready, and we're going to ask you some questions. So he calls me at 10:45, sharp. I go, all right, before I tell you my pitch, when I come down the corridor, I'm going to come and I'm going to trip, I'm going to fall and do a tumble on the ground and pop up to show that my product works. And he says, no stunts. I go, it's not a stunt. I'm going to trip and fall when I come in, and I'm going to fall down on the ground. I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to start my pitch. He goes, no stunts. I go, I'm taking the fall. He gets mad. Look, send me a video of your stunt, and I'll run it by legal to see if we're going to let you do it or not. Now, pretend you did it. Now give me your pitch. So
yeah.
Our first meeting was an argument.
Was that? Okay.
which is the best. So I did. I went in, I tumbled in. Now, on the day of the taping of the show, I'm ready. The doors are about to open. Waiting, and they go. They pull these cords to pop the doors open. Boom, the string breaks. Cut. Oh. So anyway, so then they fix it. It took them 2 minutes. The guy's got a screw gun up there. These guys are pros. Pop the door open. I come down. I'm walking down this thing. And have you ever seen the episode? It doesn't look like I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I walked down. Well, literally I tripped, but I was stressed out.
Right.
Anybody that knows me knows that look on my face like there's something wrong with Rick.
Well, imagine that'd be so. I mean, opening those doors and seeing it. And is it silent in there? Like, do they play the music that's on the show, or is it silent
I don't
when
know
you're
if I'm
actually
allowed
walking
to talk about all that stuff.
Okay. Well, if not, we can cut it all out.
But there wasn't any music when I was walking down there. You don't hear dun dun dun. No,
It's just silent.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's cruising along because it's a produce. You produce stuff.
Right.
Production value.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go in there. I pick my mark. I trip because there's a spot where I have to stand to do my pitch because all the cameras are ready, and I have to wait 60 seconds after I trip and fall to stand there so everything gets adjusted before I start my pitch.
Wow.
So I trip, I fall, boom, I tumble on the ground, I pop up, and Kevin O'Leary's he's all bad theater. Before anything. I'm going, before I did this, I had told a couple of my friends what I was going to do. And they're like, bro, don't do it. They're going to think you're an idiot. Everybody, and they're like, dude, don't do it. They're going to think you're an idiot. And I'm like, I am an idiot, and I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I'm taking the fall.
Why would you decide to do the fall? Just because you wanted to demonstrate the product?
That's an excellent question. 1 year earlier, and I'd show you the giant scar on my shoulder, if I could take my shirt off, I have a 25-mile-an-hour electric skateboard. I have a couple thousand miles in this thing. So,
is it a boosted board?
No, it's before boosted. It's called X Skate. It was American made. These guys were the OG original electric skateboard guys. And the new ones are like 11 miles an hour or something because people are dying, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so I get in a really bad accident on my electric skateboard. 25 miles an hour. Boom, I tumble. Boom. I destroy my shoulder. I always wear a helmet. And go to the ER. I have to do a surgery. It's 8-month recovery.
Whoa.
Now, I was riding a skateboard 6 miles to the dealership to pick up my wife's car that was in for service. I was going to grab her car and come home. Well, I get to I fall. My collarbone. It was really bad, and so I knew I was hurt real bad. So I couldn't. My shoulder was dropping down really low because I had torn all my ligaments, and so I hooked my thumb in my belt and pushed my shoulder up, and I tucked my collarbone back in. Like this. And then I got back on my skateboard and rode the rest of the way to the dealership in unbelievable pain.
Oh, my gosh.
So I run into the dealership. I'm slamming my hand on the counter. I'm going to go, I need my car right now. I got to go to emergency. My foot was all bloody and everything. So I get to the ER, and I'm still holding my thumb in my pants to keep my shoulder up. And I grab my wallet out, and I put it down. I slide out my insurance card, and I can't read it because I don't have my glasses on. So I set my insurance card down, and I do this.
Wow.
And
Pulled your glasses out.
And I go, my glasses stayed on during my terrible accident.
Yeah.
So that was the inspiration.
Of the fall.
I'm taking the fall.
Okay.
And so I just felt like it was really important to do a tumble so that, look, this isn't just a little cute little handy place. This actually keeps your glasses safe.
Right.
People ought to spend a lot of money and invest in the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm basically in a little insurance policy for people to keep their glasses a little longer.
Sure.
So anyway, watch the episode if you want to really see what happens.
Yeah, we can put the episode into this video.
Oh, yeah, you can pop a little something in there. And you know what? It was I was Lori Grenier's very first deal. It was her first day on the set.
Wow.
And it was actually perfect timing because I really wanted to get on QVC. And 2 weeks, like a week, 1 week before I was actually going to shoot the episode, I get contacted by Shark Tank say, hey, there's a new shark that's going to be on here. And I had already done background checks on all the other sharks because I really didn't know who's who. And got So I kind of knew who was who. So I went in there to make a deal with Lori. That's it. So when they started falling out, bunch of cool folks, really, really, really cool gig. And hundreds and hundreds of people have contacted me to get my advice on should I go on Shark Tank or should I patent questions and all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
And when I was going to go on the show, I contacted one of the earlier season entrepreneurs that had made a deal because I wanted some advice.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know what to expect. Sometime between taping the show and when it aired, I was trying to prepare for a surge of business.
Sure.
And I called two of them, and neither of them called me back. I was so disappointed. So I give everybody 5 minutes. Every single person that contacts me, I give them all 5 minutes. A lot of times it turns into 20, and it usually turns into a new friend.
That's great. That's such a good point. It's funny because, like, you would think that somebody in the early days being on that show would be willing to help you, but I guess not. But that's great that you do the same thing. And I can imagine that so many people have reached out to you just to get advice. I mean, because everybody wants to know what they're getting into before they actually step in there.
Yeah, some of the calls are pretty painful.
Really?
Yeah, because people get emotionally involved with their projects, and there's not a lot of great new products out there.
Well, and I imagine you've been the bearer of bad news for some of these people. You have to just straight up tell them this is not a good idea.
You know what? I always, and I've learned over the years how to set up the conversation. I call them back, and they're always like, "I can't believe you called me back."
Yeah.
I go, "Why wouldn't I?" Well, you're just. So I go, "Hey, listen. I don't sign NDAs. I get $1 million idea every week. I don't have time for my ideas. I'm not going to waste my time on yours.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you for free what you should do.
Yeah.
And you better do it, because if you don't, you're not going to get a second conversation." So I just know I've been through it a couple times.
Yeah.
So I always set the conversation up with, okay, if you're going to tell me your idea, I need your permission to be honest with you.
That's good.
Because you can sit there for an hour and tell me 100 reasons why people are going to buy your cool product, and all I need is 2 reasons why they won't, and they won't.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good.
So,
that's good.
And a lot of times there's a too tight of a differential between the cost of goods. They don't know how much it's going to cost to make. But I always tell people, look, there's a perceived value. What will people pay for this thing? There is margins you have to factor in from between the cost of goods to distribution costs to maybe representatives that you have to pay commissions. And if there's not enough money in it, it's a hobby.
Why do it?
Yeah, just a hobby. Go have some fun.
Yeah. So have you had anybody that's reached out to you for this advice that has gone big with it? Like, do you have anybody that's really reached out to you and it's been a big success?
No.
Wow.
There's just honestly, I've helped a couple people actually get on the show.
Okay.
Just by offering to, hey, here's what you're going to need for the pitch. Let me read your script, and then I'll critique it for you, for your submission, and I have an idea of what they want. I don't do this for people, by the way, anymore. I don't give them away. I'm not giving away my time for free as much as I used to.
Yeah.
There's just not enough time. Time is the most valuable commodity in the world.
Yeah, and you do a lot. You do a lot.
I do.
You're a busy guy.
Busy having fun.
Yeah.
But everything that was kind of my Shark Tank story. And it's I recommend it. Everybody should try to get on that show if there's an opportunity. And nothing lasts forever, so you don't know how many years that show is going to be going on for.
Right.
I've had a lot of people tell me, no, I'm not going to go on that show because for one reason or another, and I'm like, it's usually a bad reason, dumb reason.
Yeah, because the exposure is so great.
It is, and the relationships you have a chance to build.
Yeah.
As well.
So, one thing I want to ask you is, you have so many ideas, you have so many projects. Excuse me. You have so many ideas, so many projects, and you're always. I feel like you're always starting something new. And so how do you, because there's so many people like that who they they start one thing and then they go, oh, well, I got a great idea over here that I want to start this one. So how do you maintain focus? Because obviously you've built multiple businesses, you've sold them, and you carry them to fruition. How does one actually start a business and then like focus on that, or maybe not a business, but just an idea, and actually continue with that idea and make something out of it without getting completely sidetracked? Like where does that focus come from?
I've seen a theme. A lot of folks that I talk to that contact me, they have an idea, and then they all of a sudden they're telling me about another one, and a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one. They're telling me, oh, I got all these ideas.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I'm not gonna lie, a lot of these guys, these ladies and gentlemen, they call me and they're like, hey, I have this idea, I want to sell it to you. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. Ideas are worth a penny, and that's it.
Yeah.
The action and the plan.
The execution is what's worth it.
And it has to win also.
Yeah.
So the advice that I give to people when they have too many ideas is I tell them to make a list and of all their ideas if they want to do a business, and refine that list down to 3 things that you think are the best, and then run those 3 ideas by a couple good friends. Pick one. Pick one.
Pick one thing.
And here, and your subcategories are cost to produce,
right?
A prototype,
Yeah.
the cost to produce hundreds, the cost to produce thousands, so you can see where it's going to be. If you can get to the point where you're selling thousands or hundreds of thousands of something, then you're going to wind up eating it up front. But you get to that point of critical mass where you're like, okay, we got the customer base, and we're making money.
Right.
So you got the cost of goods, distribution. Where are you going to sell it? Is it going to be Amazon? Are you going to try to get into the Walmart and Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever? Every relationship you build with a platform or a place to sell your products is a different animal. Just because you've got your product in the Bed Bath & Beyond or Walmart doesn't mean it's going to be the same experience when you go to try to do Walgreens and Costco and Container Store and all the. So we've had the privilege of having relationships with a lot of different stores, and everything has a shelf life and a season.
Right.
So we go through a season, and these guys got to stay fresh. So we'll get kicked out of one store, and we'll go some other
into another one. Yeah. Another thing that I feel like you're great at is the execution. And inside the company, we've been talking about a lot of that, and a lot of the guests we've been having on our podcast, we've talked about what you just said. An idea is worth a penny, but the execution is where the money is, and that's where the value is. And actually, can you execute? And in starting the app, I get probably once a week somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I have an idea for an app. It's going to change the world. Like, I really want to share it with you. It's the next big thing."
I have one.
Well, everybody's got one. You're a guy that could actually
be really big.
You could actually make it happen. But everybody has an idea, and I've never had one person execute on that. I've never known any of those people that approach me actually do something about it. And so how do you execute? Like, when you know something's going to work, like, what is the first the first 2 or 3 steps that you take to actually begin the process of the building?
I have an answer for you. Just like when somebody calls you to ask you a question, you erase their first question mark. So what I do is I do a little brainstorm. I got this idea. So if it's a product or idea or design or whatever, I do everything on Excel spreadsheets. I build decision-making calculators on Excel spreadsheets where I put information on one side, and I'll do a numerical value this way, and it will add up to the decision. And I do the same thing with an idea for a product. I write down every single thing that I don't know about the product. How much is it going to cost to make? How much will people pay for it? How big is it? Whether weight, sizes, weights, dimensions, and every single factor. They're all question marks. And then I systematically go down that entire list of question marks and turn those questions into statements. How many of these is there? And that turns into, there are this many of those in there. right? So you take question marks, and I call it my procedure of erasing question marks, because now you go from a whole bunch of questions and mystery to a whole bunch of knowledge and facts.
Right.
That is technically action, even though it's just conversations and talking and this and that. Sometimes I actually have to go, if there's a question mark about how much is this thing going to weigh from a shipping cost standpoint,
right.
I have to go get a scale and go cut out some plastic that's about the size of that thing, and I'll actually put on a scale and weigh it. So there's more action. Who's gonna produce my metal? Who's gonna bend my metal?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go find a metal guy. I say, hey, I want to make this thing. He's like, oh, we only do big, thick, heavy metal stuff, right? And they go, but do you know a guy? Oh, yeah, you know who'd be probably good for this is that guy. And that guy sends me to this guy. So you chase every rabbit trail all the way down to the end, and you grab and start building. And you're building relationships the whole time.
Yeah.
Because you have to have an enthusiastic, you have to attract somebody to you in a way that they want to help you.
Right.
If you come in there and you're storming into places and you got a big old ego and or whatever, when you go in there, you're walking around this new place like, hey, I'm sorry, you look super busy. I'm going to keep this really short. I have a stupid little question for you. And they're like, well, what do you got? And then I like breaking down walls when it comes to people that are super guarded, and then I become friends with people.
Yeah.
It really comes down to the relationships.
Yeah. Do you think that people that are seeking those answers often come across as wanting something too much? Because I've heard people on the other end sometimes say, you know what, when people come to me and they're asking for all these things, like they come in too aggressive, they come in like asking for me to do something for them, like, because you seem really good at, you just become friends with those people. Like you have the patience to build a relationship, and you're not abrasive about the way that you ask for things. And so, do you see that with new business owners out there? Like they scare people off because they ask too upfront, or they're too aggressive about it?
Some people are too burdensome.
Yeah.
Some people don't calculate. Is the mower too loud?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's kind of like when somebody says, like, I've heard people say to others, hey, I'd love for you will you be my mentor? I'd like to meet with you once a week for an hour and, learn about how I can be better. It's like, that's not a very attractive ask for somebody that's really busy. And like, who wants to do that? Like, that's a bad ask.
Bad ask.
Yeah.
I love that word.
That's a you can have that name.
I want to be a bad ask. I don't. I would say that somebody that doesn't have a natural ability to respect people's time are going to hit a lot of walls.
Yeah.
If you can't read the room or read the audience, and there are people that really understand the whole concept of the gift giving. I refer to some folks as vampires. I was talking to somebody the other day about a mutual friend that I said, oh, that guy's a vampire. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, he's not going to suck your blood in the middle of the night. Vampires are people that take, and they don't give back.
Yeah.
Energy, positivity, any kind, or in any way.
Right.
So it's important to make sure you're adding to people every chance you get.
Yeah.
Be a giver, not
Be a giver. That's really good. And it comes back to you. I mean, that's the stuff, when you are a giver, it comes back.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's where luck comes from.
Yeah.
Being a really lucky person. It's funny. I have an uncle who I was on a job helping my other uncle out, hanging 10 doors after I had started this company. And I didn't need the money, but he needed a big favor. So I jumped on the job site, loaded my truck full of tools and everything. I went and I'm installing all these doors, and his brother sees me on the job site. He's like, what are you doing here? I'm helping your brother out hanging these doors. He just says, you're the only guy I know that can make $1 million on accident. I didn't know to be offended or complimented. And I realized I make it look that easy?
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually a compliment.
Yeah.
When you're out there, when you're grinding and you're on fire and you're just making stuff happen and you're up late at night, up early, and you're just grinding stuff out because you got a passion to do something, nobody sees
the
things you do to attract all the luck.
Yeah. That's so true. I've seen a lot of things about that recently, just little videos and snippets about how nobody actually knows. Everybody looks at the result. We're such an outcome-based society. Like everything we do, we want the outcome, or we look at people who have done great things and we see the outcome, and we kind of forget about the hustle that went into it, behind the closed doors.
Yeah, I bury myself in a project, and I've sat in one place for 15 hours working on a spreadsheet before and didn't even realize.
Wow.
I'll be working on a design or something. I'm doing some design work right now for this project, and it'll be 3:00 in the morning, and my wife will come out of the bed and, "What, Rick? What are you doing up there?" I'm like, I look at the clock, and I'm just
you didn't even know it.
No.
Yeah.
There's when you're doing something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And I've heard everybody says it's like it become a cliche. If you love what you're doing, it's not really work. It's true, though.
It's true. Yeah. So how do you schedule your time? You have so many things going on. How do you schedule all this?
I don't really schedule my time very well. I miss a lot of appointments. I'm bad at it. I'm not going to lie. I was at 10:00 in the morning a couple days ago. I called my guy to cut my hair, and he says, "All right, yeah, come on down at 2:00." And then I said, all right, I forgot I had messed him up before, so set my alarm. I'm setting my alarm right now. Boom. 2:45 rolls around. I'm in a project, lost track of time. So I don't have a great answer to that question.
Yeah.
How I schedule my time. I really I've got an incredible team that does everything that needs to be done for this business, including bringing new products in now, including handling all distribution. And so they asked me to leave last July. What is it? April? So they asked me not to come to the office if I can avoid it.
Wow.
And I was initially offended. Then I realized these guys don't really need me to do the stuff that they're great at. I suck at what they do. They don't. They like to do what they do. And every time, as an inventor, every time I walk into a room, I'm looking for a way to rearrange it.
Yeah.
I walk into my production room over here, and my employees are doing what they do best. And I go in there, I get down to one knee, I'm sighting it, I'm making sure the table's straight, making sure everything's, just make sure if nothing needs, because I built all my own fixtures and tools. I designed our manufacturing process. So I want to keep an eye on it. And then Vince will come running in. What are you doing in here?
Yeah.
I'm like,
get out.
Nothing, man. I was just
yeah. That's so funny. Well, so, I mean, but because I've heard business owners, Rick, say like that you should try to replace yourself. But what does that feel like? Like I imagine that's a little bit hard to.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that's difficult. I mean, to be asked to not show up to your own office.
It's the best thing I ever did.
Really?
It really is. Because I'm supposed to be at the 50,000-foot level. I'm supposed to see fires break out in corners when somebody in that room can't see it. I'm supposed to see, keep an eye on all the P&Ls and all the cash flow projections and looking down the road in the future. And it's a lot easier to do that more effectively when you're not flying down to the 10,000-foot level, meddling in projects that's really none of my business.
Yeah. So what does that feel like? I mean, like how do you keep a sense of purpose when you replace yourself?
There is a little void there. I'm not going to lie, but there's also a lot of comfort in if I do stay up till 3:00 in the morning and I still need my 7 hours sleep. 3 plus 7 is 10 o'clock. So I get my 7 hours. I pop out at 10 o'clock, and everything's running like a perfectly running machine.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get involved. There's a lot of relief when you do successfully have the right team in place.
Yeah. That's a great point. And then I imagine like you seem like the guy that you're never just going to finish a project and then go, okay, well that's it. Like you're already teeing up your next thing before you've even stopped doing the thing now.
It's more like when I go to the driving range and you're not hitting off the turf, you're actually hitting on the grass. I literally tee up 10 golf balls at a time.
Yeah.
And as I hit them, I'm straddling the next one, and I straddle, and I just go. So you're right. Yes, you tee them.
You tee them up. Tee it
I
as you
do
go.
it with my real life as well. I have a list of 8 new inventions.
Okay.
I keep. I don't have it in my pocket right now, but I have a little spreadsheet I built that has 8 little quadrants on it, and there's every area of my life has. I call it my action list.
Okay.
It's like a punch list. So throughout the day, I just add stuff to it, and then so I have to be careful not to get too distracted with certain projects, because most of my ideas are not going to be great ideas. I mean, for example, you can't see them, but see these wine barrels?
Yeah.
So I built these wine barrel light fixtures, and everybody loved them so much, I thought, all right, I'm going to start a wine barrel light company, and I called it Bright Barrel. I bought a truckload of barrels. I hired my son. We're building light fixtures, but I didn't think it through. And I lost $50,000 on the deal because I didn't think about the fact that people are going to have to possibly they're going to have to hire an electrical contractor, possibly structure. They're heavy. They're like 75 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, but there's just not a lot of places. Well, I was going to sell them to wineries. So I had a lot of fun going around to wine shows and wineries and talking to people and showing them my cool brochure. But that turned out to be a little hobby.
Yeah. That's good, but I think it's the fact that you can discern that, and you're not like, because so many people get so married to their idea that they'll never let it go until it just goes straight into the ground.
Yeah, I will. I'm unlike the last deal. I held on too long to my window trim company, and I lost a lot of money because of it. And if I would have sold it at the right time, I was emotionally involved with the product. I developed them. It was my industry. I spoke window to window guys.
Right.
And that was my whole life. So I held on to it too long. I wish I'd have let go a little sooner. And then I will not make that mistake again. When somebody shows up and makes me an offer for this business, and it's enough, I'm not going to be greedy. When it's enough, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to take the money and go on to the next project. And this will always be a feather in my hat. I founded that company, and I fought for years protecting my intellectual properties to the wee hours of the night, because I have literally had thousands of Chinese knockoff listings. Now, this product's made in America. I've had thousands of Chinese knockoff listings that I've had to beat and beat and beat. It's like playing whack-a-mole. I won. And it's I can't tell you how great it feels.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I can't even imagine how many. Just it sounds like a lot of work, just keeping your product as the one that everybody knows this is the actual one. Yeah,
it's I would say it might be the hardest thing I've ever done.
Really,
the most work, the most literally crying tears.
Wow,
like I'm not going to win. I can't win this, and I just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And I just was not going to give up. Just fighting to protect my intellectual properties.
Yeah, and you did it. You won.
Yeah. No, it's we've got it set up now to where we have a deal with Amazon and Wish and Alibaba and eBay, all of them. Anywhere you can sell products, have our intellectual properties registered with them, and a policing process to find them, and it took 4 years of a lot of late nights and tears and rage like you've never seen a guy stomping around his upstairs cursing like his head off because he's so mad at the fight that just won't end. Mm-hmm. So I got complimented. I got a couple acquisition companies that are looking at us right now, and they're like, and they're basically it's this new school concept where these guys are aggregating Amazon sellers and overpaying for businesses. And so one of them said, how do you not have 1,000 knockoffs of your product like everybody else does. That's a long answer, buddy.
Yeah.
But thanks for noticing.
Yeah. Took a lot of work to get that done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rick, so tell me about like the next products that Readerest is coming out with. Is there anything new, or is it still just the clip for your glasses?
The next product has already happened, actually.
Okay.
Last couple of years, I've been working to develop a line of reading glasses. That's a perfect fit. So we have really lightweight, comfortable reading glasses with spring-loaded hinges. And all of our lenses have blue light blocking technology.
Wow.
And we have zero power glasses. If you need like correction, so some people don't need correction. They just want protection from the blue light that's beaming from our devices. So we're spending all this time with all these Zooms and all the, our cell phones. So we got a great line of reading glasses now, and they went from 10, 15, 20% of our sales. We're already within a year. It's like 80% of my sales.
Wow.
It's insane. These things are ripping. People love them. I get people calling me all the time. Absolutely love your reading glasses. So best thing I ever did. This is going to be really what takes us to the moon.
That's amazing. And where do people find all of your products? Is it on Amazon? Do they go to your website? Where do people get it all?
Either or. When you go to Amazon, make sure you type in Readerest reading glasses.
Okay.
Or just Readerest, Readerest.
Okay.
And or you can come to our website. Either way.
Okay. Got it.
Cool. Thanks for asking, man.
Yeah, of course. So if you could go back and whisper in the ear of your young self back when you were just starting, what would you say?
Patent the snowboard, stupid. Yeah. You don't know. It takes what it takes. Don't smoke meth, stupid.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, I don't recommend doing things that could and will likely kill you, to destroy your life and your family. And but I also say that I look in the mirror today. I love that guy. I freaking love that guy. I love how he treats people. I love how he feels in his heart all the time.
Yeah.
I believe in the creator of the universe and the one he sent to sacrifice himself because I owed a price that I can't pay. And I love knowing that no matter what happens, if I lost every penny, I would feel bad for my wife. But that would be my new platform to go build tons more new relationships and get off the ground. So I would say to my young self, calm down, bro. Give it all you got. Don't ask for 100. Ask for 1,000,000 because that's what you'll get.
That's awesome. That's great advice. Well, Rick, you're inspiring, my friend. I love spending time with you, and any chance I get to be around you, I always take it. So thank you for spending time today and for doing this, and I'm just very excited to release this. I know that our listeners out there will get a lot of value from this conversation.
I hope so, because stuff like this lasts forever.
Yep.
And this new digital realm. I mean, I was talking to my wife. We had big blackouts and stuff, and she was on her phone during a power outage because she had some battery life.
Yeah.
And I was downstairs cooking eggs with a forehead light, and I could see my breath because it was 30 degrees in the house. I'm frying up some eggs, and I went back upstairs after I ate my eggs, and she's on her phone. I go, "Hey, honey, turn your phone off," and it's 1865.
Yeah. It's true.
Amazing.
I know, that was
wild.
wild.
So the technology, I hope to inspire people, man. And I sure appreciate the opportunity to come on. Congratulations on your new app.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it go rock the world, man.
Thank you. Well, you do inspire people, and appreciate everything that you're doing, and thanks for always pouring into everybody that's around you and for taking time to thank you for giving everybody those 5 minutes. It means a lot.
My pleasure.
So appreciate you.